Hey everybody, Darren Griffiths here for JumpCut Online. I hope you're all keeping well. The latest video review from Glasgow Film Festival. It has been my second film of the day, hence the night here in my hotel room. I've just got back from True History of the Kelly Gang. It is directed by Justin Kurzel, who has mightily impressed me pretty much up to now, other than perhaps he's delving into video game adaptations with Assassin's Creed, which I very much appreciated the intent of it, and it certainly captured the feel of it, but story-wise, it didn't really convert very well. But his other films, Snowtown and his take on Macbeth, which visually alone was just incredible, starring Michael Fassbender and Marion Cotillard. If you haven't seen that version, I highly recommend you seeking it out. And he sort of achieved the similar feat here with Kelly Gang. He's very much invigorated a story that many people would probably have a preconceived idea of at this point, in Ned Kelly, a character who was previously played by the late Heath Ledger, of course, but probably the one that's probably least known, probably to people of my age, is Mick Jagger also gave an interpretation of this character as well. This time, he's played by man of the moment, Mr. George MacKay, who, I'm not going to lie, it's no secret, I very much love this guy, not just on a superficial level, I just think he's a damn good actor, and he's impressed me immensely from the likes of Sunshine on Leith, Captain Fantastic, and of course, the multi-award winning 1917, directed by Sam Mendes recently. And MacKay, we get his adult Ned here, but we begin with young Ned, played impeccably by a young guy called Orlando Schwert. I'm not sure on the surname. I apologise if I've got that wrong. But we get the formative years of Ned Kelly here in the harsh Australian outback in the 1870s. And we get how he interacts with his force of nature, that is his mother, played by Essie Davis, of course, from The Babadook. And young Ned, the characters that he encounters along the way are devilishly played by its actors, but their moral compass is all over the shop. We've got Charlie Hunnam playing a Sergeant O'Neill. We've got Russell Crowe's bushranger Harry Power, and those two characters particularly form the basis of the headspace that adult Ned eventually becomes accustomed to, and he sort of crafts an intense figure out of his formative years. And in adult Ned's portion of the film, it's MacKay's Ned's interacting predominantly with Nicholas Hoult's very peculiar, rambunctious Englishman, and trying to strike deals between the two along the way. And I'm still sort of gathering myself from the film, because it is such an intense experience. And Kurzel, once again, visually, my goodness me, the cinematography is exquisite. The use of natural light, there's particular uses, almost like a strobe effect, and it sort of accentuates certain figure movements in such a way that it just creates this sort of nightmarish singular vision that is so fitting of the brutality and the violence that is carried out within the film, not just in a traditional, gun and gunslinging sense, but particularly the psychological aspects of it that very much stems from a young age, and particularly where we find adult Ned, the way he's trying to he's trying to get away from what his father represented, essentially, and how intense his mother is, and just trying to carve his own path. And there's a line in the film that it says that every man should be the author of their own history, and between all these characters, it's all contorted and twisted in a way, and it's very represented in the visuals as well. There's a lovely juxtaposition sort of within two sequences within the film. There's one, and it's pretty simple really. It's George MacKay's adult Ned wandering through this sparse wasteland where barely any branches, just single branches, all contorted and twisted, which is very much like his family tree. There's not many branches to it. It's very singular and, you know, broken in a way, and the foundations just aren't that solid. And then when he forms his brotherhood of sorts with the gang, there's a sequence that sort of pans up the really tightly, it's like a formation really, of trees, single branches, all imposing, working their way up. And I think that's sort of his way as a figure, and the physicality that MacKay brings to it that sort of complements all that, because he's sort of standing tall, and his entrance is, I mean, it's chilling in its own way, but there's sort of this punk rock bohemian spirit that I think the film encapsulates beautifully. And MacKay is literally like sort of contorting like this, and it's almost like, you know, for a moment I was sort of joking in my head, like, is Matthew Bourne directing this? Is it like Swan Lake? You know, with like the flapping of the wings and that kind of thing. But in a way that's sort of representative of Ned. He always feels like he's had his wings clipped, and he needs to find his own way to spread himself out across this Australian outback and find his own path and spread his wings. And the performance from MacKay, I mean, I thought he's put in terrific performances up to now anyway, but he utterly transforms himself in this. And another particular aspect that I found fascinating as well, that sort of broke out from the hard body aesthetic, which inevitably he adopts along with many other fellow men within the film, is the androgyny and the embracing of the dresses and this lacy sort of outfit that they go for. And just to contrast that masculinity and to feel so empowered within it was fascinating to me. And aside from MacKay, as I mentioned, Essie Davis, force of nature, she's brilliant in this. And of course, female firepower to counter so many, you know, imposing figures that are scattered within close proximity for her and her family. Russell Crowe steals pretty much every sequence that he's in. He got some great laughs within the film. While it's pitch black humour, he brings moments of levity and light relief in a film that, you know, it's pretty few and far between in being very cheery. It's full on pretty much from the get-go. And Nicholas Hoult, who's rocking stockings at one point, which again, it sort of adds that androgyny to it and sort of this bromance. It sort of blurs the lines in such a way. And he's devilish and bone-chilling as the guy who sort of allows adult Ned to sort of find his way, for better or worse, in this film. But Kurzel's absolutely knocked it out of the park once again with True History of the Kelly Gang. As I said, similar vein to Macbeth. I think visually it's just sublime, and the harshness of it, and that final act, my goodness. The only thing I can refer it to, again, it sort of plays into the strobing without giving too much away, but the only thing that sort of jogged my memory in a cinematic sense was it reminded me of the Big Daddy moment in Kick-Ass, when that music just swells. This sort of adopts a similar style to it in a way that will knock your socks off if this is your style of film. I think it's uncompromising, it's invigorating, it takes a well-worn story and gives it a really good bloody shake, and it was a knockout, and it went down a storm in the screening I was in this evening. It's officially released tomorrow, conveniently, across the UK. I'm not sure how much of a release it's getting. Fingers crossed it gets a wide release. And on a local level, I know we've got it at Lighthouse Media Centre where I work in Wolverhampton. Be sure to check it out. It's towards the end of March, so we have got a bit of a wait, but for fellow Midlanders, seek it out. That is a wrap on my review of True History of the Kelly Gang. I sincerely hope you've enjoyed it, and I haven't waffled on too much, but there's so much that I wanted to unpack with this. And as you can probably tell, I'm still trying to process it a little bit, because it was quite a draining but satisfying experience at the same time. JumpCut Online, Facebook, like our page, Twitter, JumpCut_online, the website, www.jumpcutonline.co.uk, once again, the Patreon page, trying to hit targets, trying to give you more coverage, and whilst helping fellow writers like myself and the rest of the team who put in such great work on a consistent basis. Be sure to check, all the details are on our website. Up next, in terms of Glasgow Film Festival, tomorrow as I'm putting this out, I'm seeing Rialto and Our Ladies. I'm not sure if it'll be video or written yet, but of course I'll keep you informed. But for now, I've been Daniel Griffiths, Seek Out True History of the Kelly Gang, and I will speak to you later, guys. Take care, and bye-bye for now.